Sponsored product ad landscape is evolving from the traditional keyword first approach to more advanced models. And that's one that I think is going to really reshape retail media in the coming years. Good morning and welcome to the Retail Media Breakfast Club. I'm your host, Kiri Masters, and every weekday at 6 a.m. Eastern, I bring you candid and real discussions in the world of retail media and marketplaces in just 10 minutes. So bring your own cup of coffee and we'll get smarter about retail media together. Good morning. Today I'm sharing an excellent article from Jordan Whitmer, who is the Managing Director of Retail Media and Consulting at the agency Nectar First. And Jordan has been doing a really great series on LinkedIn recently about retail media, and he recently shared some themes being unpacked in the sponsored product landscape specifically. So I'll link to his article in the show notes and do recommend that you check this original post out and give him a follow on LinkedIn. So one of the big themes that Jordan identified in this post is why retail media networks are evolving their sponsored product ad unit from being keyword driven to being product driven. And the reason for that shift is that product driven or product first sponsored product ad units are more lucrative for retailers potentially. So we're going to get into why that is and what that means for brands. But I'm also going to add a third approach in besides keyword and product first bidding approaches. And that's one that I think is going to really reshape retail media in the coming years. So let's dive in. So to start, let's look at the two traditional models. The first is keyword first targeting. And this is the original standard where brands bid on search terms like organic snacks. And that means your product appears, if you are the highest bidder, of course, in relevant search results for that search term for organic snacks or potentially derivatives of that. And so this is really great for high intent shoppers actively searching for what you sell. It's great when you know what keywords are going to be relevant and high converting, or you're prepared to go through that journey to figure it out, and it gives you a lot of control as an advertiser. Second is product first targeting, and that shifts the focus from the keyword that you're looking at to the product itself. And the retailer's ad system decides where to place that ad. It could be on a search page, it could be on a category page for snacks, or it could even be off-site, off of the retailer's platform and on an entirely different platform that they have some kind of relationship with. Jordan, in his article, describes keyword-first systems as offering high control for advertisers, while product-first systems maximize monetization for retailers, specifically by leveraging dynamic placement. So, if keyword-first systems offer better control, why is product-first gaining momentum? Well, first of all, for retailers who are the ones building and deploying the systems, it's all about optimizing their advertising inventory. So by dynamically placing ads rather than allowing an advertiser to decide where they want their ads to go, the retailers can monetize traffic that would otherwise go unsold. Advertisers are often willing to bid on placements and keywords that they deem valuable, such as top of search. And advertisers may be less willing to spend on other types of placements like off-site, for example, or new ad placements that are kind of unproven yet, or just ones that they're less familiar with and get less attention as a result. So the product-based ad approach allows retailers to sell all available inventory, not just the ones advertisers deem to be valuable. So this is sort of like value-based pricing, right? Where the retailer can bundle up placements and positions for the advertiser rather than having every component of the media buy be controlled by the advertiser. But obviously, product-based advertising is a bit more of a black box for the advertiser. It might be simpler to operate for most advertisers, and you don't need a capability around media management the same way you would really need to have that dialed in if you were focused on keyword-driven advertising. And obviously, the retailer is able to sell more ad units. As Jordan says in his article, the product-first approach is ideal for retailers as they can tweak logic to maximize monetization. And here's what one advertiser had to say. Alex Rienecker, head of digital at Swiss Wellness, commented here that it seems to me that keyword first is easier to control for incrementality or to launch for NPDs or add in seasonal campaigns with more auction transparency. But I'm coming from the perspective of big brands with historically higher organic share of voice as challenger brands with more to gain and likely less resources to manage. So that is one advertiser's perspective. And to be clear, product-based sponsored product ads are not bad. As we'll see in a second, most retailers actually offer both types, but it is very important for brands to understand the difference and what type might be the best fit across their portfolio and given the resources that they have. Now, I said that there is a third advertising model that I wanted to add into the mix here, which is behavior-first advertising. And this is a model that focuses on the shopper, not just the search term or product. Behavioral ads are driven by past actions. So for example, Instacart might target frequent snack buyers, right, for this organic snacks ad. Instead of focusing on those search terms like organic snacks or specific products like organic tortilla chips, these ads leverage shopper intent to drive highly personalized experiences. A shopper may not be searching for those things, but based on my past activity, they know that I'm interested in organic products and they know that I generally purchase snacks. So the pros for advertisers here is that this type of targeting may unlock segments that deliver a great ROI and high relevance that you may not be aware of. You might not have known what those keywords should be or what the right product is to serve to that customer at that exact time that they are building their cart. But there are, downsides to this, one of them being privacy concerns and really like the trust in the retailer's ability to leverage their data and accurate data and issues if that's not handled correctly. But in general, this is a really big shift that is going to unlock things like personalization as well. So when I am shopping, I'm seeing ads that are more relevant to me. They're not, necessarily keyword-driven ads. So what do retailers love about this model? Well, it monetizes shopper behavior in underutilized spaces like category recommendations or cross-sell placements, and it enables full utilization of all of that ad space that you may not be able to sell through a keyword-based model by itself. So now we have this landscape of 3 groups of sponsored product ads: keyword first, product first, and behavior first. So what does the current landscape of retail media networks look like in adopting those 3 ad models, and what does this mean for brands and advertisers? So one observation I have is that many of the retail media networks that are newer to digital retail display is that they're still relying heavily on keyword first bidding. So a few that I noted that still rely heavily on keyword first bidding are CVS, Walgreens, and Costco. But the more established players, notably Amazon, is using every type here. Walmart is also using some product first ad types. And Instacart is, once again, one of my favorite retail media networks for innovation. They have been using behavior-based approaches for quite some time now. So I think the evolution that we're going to see is from keyword-only sponsored product bidding capabilities to product first, and maybe even bypass product first to go straight to behavioral for some of these retailers who are in the early innings of their retail media network capabilities. So, and I'd say for advertisers, it's going to be a big leap of faith to trust the behavioral ad capabilities potentially. And what retailers will need to do is prove that They know the customer so well. And you think about all of the data that these retailers have about us, about our buying habits, what we purchase regularly, what we stock up on regularly, what we've been researching but not buying that we may have a future interest in. It's up to these retailers to prove to advertisers that they have the data, they can be trusted with the data, and that there is an alignment of incentives, that the retailer wants to see conversions and consideration and brand lift just as much as you do. And so what should brands do when they're looking at this new landscape? Well, there's a couple of things to keep in mind here. One is to push for transparency with retail media networks. And the second, as a follow-on to that, is to experiment with hybrid strategies, looking at what's the ideal combination of keyword first for high intent shoppers, and perhaps looking at behavior first for discovery and expanding your customer base. So to wrap things up here, sponsored product ad landscape is evolving from the traditional keyword first approach to more advanced models like product first and behavior first targeting. And each approach has its own benefits and trade-offs, both for retailers and for brands. So once again, knowledge is power, and for both sides to understand the trade-offs there and the nuances of each model so that you can optimize your sponsored product ad campaigns for performance. Well, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Retail Media Breakfast Club. We meet here every day at 6 a.m. Eastern. So be sure to subscribe and get your daily dose of insights, trends, and hot takes in the world of retail media and marketplaces.